Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Blackberry Classic and see how this particular phone holds up in the later part of 2024. Now, this phone is a very interesting one because this is a device that did come out quite a bit of time ago, and I probably will tell you, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy a device like this anymore. There are significantly better devices to go ahead and buy, and with this one, like I said, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to go and buy it just because it's been outdated. But there are probably still some reasons to go and buy a device like this, maybe if you want to, and we'll talk about that throughout this video. Now, number one, from the exterior standpoint, right, looking at the outside of this particular device, this is a pretty, interesting design phone. So you're getting this 3.5-inch IPS LCD on the front. It's a touch screen, whether you believe it or not. You also have this massive keyboard at the very bottom, so you can go through and, see all those keys and the keyboards and everything like that. Now, it is capacitive, so you can actually kind of they call it the optical trackpad, which is actually really cool. So you can kind of maneuver around with it and maneuver around with the cursor on it too, which is a really cool thing. Beyond that, you're basically getting the standard buttons on the front. The sides of this phone feel pretty premium as well. And then you're getting this plastic back. Now, micro USB port and a micro SD card slot on this thing, which is actually pretty insane. The USB port obviously not the best, but you're getting that micro SD card slot, which in and of itself is a really, really nice and interesting thing. So I think this in and of itself is a very, very cool thing going on for this type of device. Now, on top of that, another very big thing to keep in mind here too is that with something like the Blackberry Classic, this type of phone, for the most part, still does a pretty good job, I would say, at kind of handling a lot of things you would kind of think about it when it comes down to the design. The keys, obviously not the best type of keys of all time, they're plasticky, they don't fit super well, and that's kind of the problem that you're going to be getting if you're getting a device like this, because it is kind of in this situation where, it's kind of stuck like you can't maneuver around the keys are kind of stuck there. But with something like the Blackberry Classic, I feel like this type of device still does a pretty good job at kind of handling things that you kind of throw at it. From a software perspective, it's kind of in this weird spot. It's outdated with software completely. I'm not even really too sure. It was on Blackberry OS, and a lot of people loved Blackberry OS, right? They loved Blackberry software in general, and that is a pretty nice thing. That was one of the biggest selling points of these types of phones. But the problem with this phone now is that it's already outdated, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy a phone like this, right? The problem with this type of device is that you're just kind of stuck in the situation where it just doesn't make a lot of sense to go and buy it, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense to buy, especially from a software perspective. From a performance side, it's not terrible. I think that is kind of an interesting thing, because this phone's not like a terrible performing device. I think that is it wasn't a terrible performing device when it first came out, but nowadays it is a little bit outdated. It has that Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Plus chipset. And once again, if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, you probably don't want to go ahead and buy a phone that's going to be this outdated by the time you buy it. It makes a lot more sense to go and buy a device that is still supported with software, that's still going to be giving you features. And this type of device isn't really going to be giving you that. So that is essentially kind of the problem, once again, that you're going to be experiencing with this type of device when it comes down to it as well. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Blackberry Classic doesn't really make a lot of sense to go and buy anymore. It makes a lot more sense to go and buy some other devices, buy a phone that's still kind of supported. Think of phones like a, Samsung Galaxy S21 at the bare minimum, a Google Pixel 6. Those types of phones are still supported with software. This type of phone, it's not, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to go and buy it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.